Hello, I'm going to be talking about my exact 6-step strategy for staying positive even when you really just want to go back to bed. So my name is Lindsay Wilson from Positive Performance and the Mental Training Entrepreneur Bootcamp, and I am so glad you're here. What I'm going to do right now is, as always, I am going to share this in my other groups so people can see it as it's happening. And if you are here, go ahead and say hi. Let's see. Share. You would think that I'd be able to do this a little bit faster, but it takes me a little while. What can I say? Hope everybody's doing well. Share in a group. So first I'm going to share in Positive Performance post. Then I'm going to share in the Mental Training Coach and Entrepreneur community. Okay, so here we are. We are talking about how to stay positive. Let's talk first about why this matters. So for me, today I'm talking a lot about staying positive in my business because that's forefront of my mind right now, but it's really the exact strategies that I used as an athlete and really for any aspect of my life. So the reason that this matters is because when we get into a negative mind state, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. We start thinking negative, and what actually happens in the brain is that we get into fight or flight mode. And when we get into fight or flight mode, we think of the absolute safest option. So what that does is that shuts out other options. And so generally when we are not in a good place, we need to see other options. We need to see opportunities around us. We need to see creative solutions to whatever is going on in our life that we want to change. And the problem with the negative mind state is that it actually prevents us from doing the very thing that can get us out of it. So we have that working against us. So that's why, it's not just about fluffy being positive. It's actually about getting your brain in the space to where it can make change and it can find creative solutions and it can find and see the opportunities that are around us. So that's why positivity matters. It's not just to feel good. As an entrepreneur, I would say that the being able to stay in the positive mind state is maybe the most difficult thing that you have to do. In fact, I was just talking to a coaching student this morning about this, and it is literally something that comes up all the time. Because, you're in these spaces, especially if you work for yourself, where, and especially if you work a lot of times alone, is you get in these negative mind states and no one's there to get you out of it, right? You have to do that work yourself. And one of the cool things I think about what I do and mindset work and what my students do as mindset coaches is we really have to live and breathe what we teach. There's the old saying that people who can't do teach. And that is, at least in my experience, really untrue when it comes to mindset coaches, because if we are not doing the work that we want our clients to do, it comes across. And there's just something about it that makes us inauthentic. And clients can kind of sniff that out. So mindset coaches, I know for myself, I have to live this stuff. And I'm glad to live it. And that's one of the reasons that that's one of the things that I love about being an entrepreneur. So there's two big things when it comes to being an entrepreneur that are most difficult. The first is, I believe, the mindset, being able to stay positive when things are tough. The other is the strategy, but we're not going to talk about that today because that's like a whole nother thing. Or being able to prioritize what to do when, which is kind of strategy in itself. So today I really want to talk about that mindset. So this again is what I experienced as an athlete. So the ability to stay positive, like if we're in a losing season, like how do you show up to practice and stay positive when you're in that situation? If you just had like the worst, most shitty game of your career, how do you bounce back from that? And continue to work and continue to invest. And that's really what this is all about, right? And again, when we get into that negative mind state, and if you're a coach, which a lot of you guys are as in a sports coach, you might be seeing this in your athletes, is that tendency to get into that fight or flight and choose the safest option. And a lot of times what the safest option is to give up. Now, that doesn't mean someone's going to walk into your office and quit. It means that they're not going to then be doing the extra work that they need to do to get better. So when you're in that space of like, I just really want to go back to bed, your reaction determines your future. And it's really those situations, those circumstances that make a huge difference down the road. In that moment, do you choose to double down and continue to work hard, or do you choose to make excuses or go to bed or whatever and stay in that negative space? And I'm sure you've seen yourself do either, and I'm sure you've seen that in your athletes or in your clients. So I want to talk about how I use this strategy to bring in $50K in my business in 1 month. Because I was launching a new program and it got really tough in the middle. It got really tough in the middle. And I'm kind of in the throes of it right now because I'm launching the Mental Training Entrepreneur Bootcamp right now. And I know myself and I know the things that I have to do. And so I wanted to share those with you because these are the exact steps that I tell my clients to do as well. Okay, the first thing that when you're in that mode of I really want to be negative, or if you're anticipating a situation where things are going to be positive, I think someone just said hi. Hi guys. Oh, Krista. Hi, Krista. We need to talk. I want to hear about your new client. So let's see. Okay, so when you're in that moment, asking for help, asking for support, and being vulnerable. Now, this sounds like total like Captain Obvious, and I know that it does. But for example, for me, a lot of times stress comes out in like, you know, like when I'm doing the dishes or like I'm stressed at work and then I get stressed, and then I get stressed like because the kitchen's dirty or whatever, right? And like I know that those are like some of my triggers, right? Probably a lot of you are like that too. And so my stress will come out in that way, or my negativity will come out in that way. And what I try to do now, and I'm not always successful at this, of course, is I try to communicate the support and ask for the support that I need from my husband. So I will tell him explicitly, this week is going to be tough because of XYZ. This is what I need. That is a very vulnerable place to be. It used to be on the reactive end, like I'd get mad about the dishes or something. And trust me, it still is at times. But I get mad about the dishes and it's clearly not about the dishes. It's about me being in a negative space or trying to keep myself out of this negative space. And so being really explicit with the people around you in the times that you need support. You know, for some people it sounds like obvious. Like if you lose a game, it's really nice to have support. But being really clear about what that support looks like and how that helps you the best can be helpful. And I tell this to my athlete clients too, with like their parents, for example, you know. I had a swimming client a couple months ago, and he was like, my mom, she tries to be supportive, but then she's like asking me these questions about my preparation and like how I felt if he didn't swim well. And it would drive him insane because then he read it as like kind of guilt or like, you know, caring a little too much and putting pressure on him is how he felt. And I told him, like, you need to ask and tell your mom what kind of support you need, because she doesn't know. She can't read your mind. She wasn't an athlete herself either. So she didn't know how to support him in the best way, especially in those painful situations or in those, you know, those places where he wanted to be negative. So explicitly asking for not only when you need support, but how you're best able to receive it can do wonders for everyone involved. Okay, the second step that I always take is doing extra work. So, you know, as an athlete, if I was feeling, and this is the spot where people may give up. I know you see a bunch of people on. Guys, Krista said hi. You guys go ahead and say hi or give me a thumbs up or I don't know, a heart or a smiley face or something, so I can, and then I think your picture pops up and I get to see who's on, because otherwise I can't tell. And thanks for watching live. Okay, so what was I saying? Oh, doing extra. So in that moment, when you really want to go to sleep, go back to bed, there's those two paths, right? There's I'm going to double down. There, I got a heart from somebody. Of course, I couldn't see who it was. I think you have to comment for me to see who it was. But I love the hearts and the smiley faces and everything. There's the two paths, right? You have the path of the fight or flight response of this is hard. I don't think this is going to work out. I'm going to save my resources. I'm going to choose the safe route, which is no more investing, right? Whether that's time, effort, money, ego. I'm not going to, hey, Samia, how are you? I'm not going to invest. The other path is I'm doubling down. This is going to work. I might be in a negative space right now, but this is going to work because I'm willing to sacrifice. And so for myself, I always had like this one workout I would go back to. And I remember specifically doing it when I was in Greece. We had lost, and I was just not playing well. And I hadn't been doing this specific workout because we had other, the coaches we were working out, but it just wasn't this. I had this one that I knew I could always go back to, and it just made me feel so confident. And so doing some extra work. So if I'm super stressed about work, that's not always the solution, but getting some actionable things done gives you that momentum of like, okay, I'm choosing the path of doing extra instead of giving up and sort of settling for whatever this easier, safer path is. Okay, so ask for support and then doing extra. The third one I talked about last week in the group, and that is visualizing. Because when we're in that negative spot, again, the fight or flight response is going to want to take over and think of like, no, we're not doing anything new. We're not doing anything scary. We're not doing anything that's uncomfortable. Like, we're done with that. We already stuck our neck out and it did not end well. So like, no more of that. Okay. So you have to trick your mind into suspending whatever the reality is at this moment, which is we just lost, I just screwed up, I just bombed this presentation or interview. Like, I'm in this place where I am just, I'm like, woe is me, wah wah, this life sucks, right? I'm in this space, and you have to then convince yourself that this future that you've been dreaming about is still possible. And in my experience, visualization is the best way to do that. You have to get yourself in that place mentally where you can, again, see those opportunities, creatively think of solutions instead of just going back into your shell and your comfort zone. Because again, that's the self-sabotaging, that's the self-fulfilling prophecy. Ooh, I got some hearts for that one. And that's what we do, right? So visualization is really your friend in those situations. You have to remind yourself of why you're doing it. Oh, I love those thumbs up, guys. That helps me so much when I'm talking. That is the thing that will convince you to keep going. Because if you can't do that and you don't want to do that, then you're just in that wah-wah spot, okay? With that, and this is a third one because it's not just during your visualization. Hi, Davey. Great advice. Thank you. I really appreciate that. You guys, on a side thought, I just sent out an email. I can't remember I think it was just to people on the wait list for Mental Training Entrepreneur. Actually, I'm going to post what I put in the group if I didn't already. I can't. And I talked about giving compliments. This is kind of a sidetrack. But, Raman, hi. This is awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I appreciate all of you guys being here and for the comments. Go thank somebody. That was my message in the email. Go thank somebody out of the blue that you just because. Give them a testimonial. Thank them. It will make their day, I promise. Okay, that's on another set. Okay, so asking for support, doing extra, doing something actionable extra, visualization, and with that visualization, number 4, and this is, again, you can do it with your visualization, but it can also be your positive mantra throughout the day. So a lot of times when I am in a negative space for my business, let's say, and I'm in that space where I have these big goals, and a lot of them are revenue goals, but they're also reach goals, like how many athletes and how many coaches can I reach. When I start having doubts about that, in this case, that number, that result, visualization helps a ton because I can really see it happening. I know in my bones that it can happen. And so visualization is that reminder that this work that I need to do today can get me there. Okay, so it's connecting those two things. And then the fourth part is the positive mantra. And mine, I'll just tell you mine, as an entrepreneur, is I remind myself that other people have done it. And that just kind of like, and not only have other people done the successful part, and they've reached that level that I'm wanting to get to, but they've done all the bullshit, excuse my language, of like the fight. And I remind myself that other people have done it, and the only people that are going to get to that place that I want to get are the ones that are willing to deal with the now discomfort of failing. They're the only, I got a thumbs up for that too. Thanks, guys. They are the only ones that are going to get to that level. And I'm one of those people. See how that goes? So I'm sort of addressing this negativity. I know that it's real. I know other people have gotten past it. And I believe, because I'm doing my visualization, that I am one of those people that's capable of that too. But it's not by avoiding the discomfort. See, it's not by saying, well, those people didn't, the reason they got to that level is because they didn't feel this. That's not true. And we all know that's not true. So my positive mantra is, other people have done it. You can do it too. And I'm trying to think of what my negative positive mantra was as an athlete. I know when I was missing, I was a basketball player. When I was missing, it was, you only have so many misses in you. I've shared that before. You only have so many misses in you. So hopefully that's helpful. Okay, so that's number 4. Number 5 is do something physical. When you are feeling down, thank you, David. Love that you are speaking the truth, reality, and dealing with it in the moment. Thank you. I appreciate that. When you are dealing with something stressful, again, your fight or flight response is kicking in, which means we want to be small and safe. And we want to curl up in bed with, in my case, would be HGTV and just like, blah, and feel sorry for ourselves. Because that feels so good sometimes, doesn't it? Just for a little bit, just for a little bit. And then we need to get out of bed and get some shit done. So this is your 6 steps to get some shit done after that. Okay, doing something physical. Now, this is not just me who just like, my husband Larry looks at me and is like, do you need to go for a run? I got the kids. So this is kind of my go-to. But I will tell you this, that it's not just people that are like gung-ho workers-outers. And it doesn't even have to be a workout. It has to be something that pushes you physically. So it's generally workout, but it doesn't have to be. That reminds you and your body of all that you're capable of. Because when you overcome that challenge of doing something physical, that again, it's easier to just stay in bed. When you accomplish that and you get past that hurdle, everything else is easier. Not only from a physiological level, your brain endorphins change, right? Your stress cortisol reduces if you're getting some exercise, and your endorphins, your positive feel good serotonin, all that good stuff that again gets you in that creative mind state where you see opportunities that you wouldn't have seen if you're in bed watching HGTV. Okay, so doing something physical. It doesn't have to be the craziest workout you have ever done, but if you push yourself physically, you will your mind will automatically understand that you are able to do that in other aspects of your life. Okay? And I know that you guys that are watching this have experienced that. Give me a thumbs up if you've experienced that. When there's something you're struggling in your life and you're thinking, and you're trying to accomplish it or get past it, and you go do something physical and you get past that obstacle or that hurdle, you guys give me a thumbs up. I know you guys have experienced this. Then you are able, yeah, I got some hearts. Okay, good. I know that people that are in sports get this, but it's easy to forget. Right? Because you're like, and the other thing that's easy to forget, especially if you're talking about being an entrepreneur or something, that's the thing that's a little easier as an athlete is like, that's wrapped into your job, right? But as an entrepreneur, it's not. So I'm taking myself away from my work to go work out, right? So I have to justify it in my mind. And it's easy to say, no, what needs to happen is number 2, I need to do some actionable things. I need to get to my emails. I need to do another video. I need to do whatever. And so to make sure that you're doing something physical, and by the way, coaches are like the absolute worst at this that I've seen. I've worked with a ton of coaches, a lot of college coaches that are just crazy stressed all the time, and they don't take the time to make sure that they're physically pushing themselves. They want to, talk to the next recruit or get the practice plan together or what have you. And so they don't prioritize this. And guess what? Their stress hormones are above the roof. And then they don't have that ability to believe they're over these obstacles. And then they get in that fight or flight response. So do something physical. Hi, Tom. Hi, Adam, Freddie. You guys are all here. That's awesome. Do something physical. And I will summarize all these at the end, and once I'm done, I will write them down in the comments. So if you're just joining and you're forgetting them, I'll summarize them. Don't worry. The final number 6 is sort of choose your own adventure, and I call it get your mind twist on. And that's where you're doing something that's just different, okay? It doesn't mean you have to go skydiving, but you're listening to music. I was listening to this song this morning. I was getting really frustrated with something on the technology side with my, Tom, I'm good. Thanks for asking, I'm awesome. But actually I wasn't awesome this morning. I woke up and I had this technology thing, and this is actually what, I was thinking about doing this video anyway, and I really started realizing that I need to do it. I woke up this morning and I was really frustrated with this technology glitch that's happening. I'm like on support with all these people for my mindset, or for my mental entrepreneur boot camp. Like, it's not, the stuff is going fine as far as the launch, but there's just this one technical thing that's driving me crazy. And so I was in this negative space, and I'm driving my daughter to daycare, and this song about a potato comes on. And it's like this catchy little, Tindra, hi. It's like this catchy little thing about like 1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato, and it's like this funny song. And I was like, we started dancing and laughing. I mean, there's nothing like a 3-year-old to put you in a good mood. And so it doesn't have to be the hot potato song, but get your mind twist on somehow, okay? So like things that work for me that just, and when I say mind twist, it's like, okay, we're in this negative spot and we have tunnel vision and we're thinking about this one thing that feels all-consuming, right? It feels bigger than us. So we do something physical so that we feel bigger than it, and then we twist our mind somehow. We like jumble it up, okay? So for me, it was the potato song. But my other go-tos are getting out in the garden, like feeling dirt in my hands for some reason. Like, I'm not like a master gardener or anything. I'm talking about like pulling weeds. But good to see you too. Thanks for joining, guys. We got a lot of people on live. I appreciate you guys watching. Getting my hands dirty. Like, I went for a bike ride today. It was only like 30 minutes, but like that shifts my mind. Of course, that's the physical thing too. But cooking does it for me. Any kind of art or creative thing. If you have Play-Doh around, literally anything that gets your mind off whatever it is that's bothering you and into more of a creative mind. Because again, I keep saying this, but when we're in this negative space, our brains do not optimize at that point. We are thinking about the one problem, and we're thinking about it in a way that's not that productive. So again, we don't think about solutions. We don't think of it from a creative other angle. That's why it's important to talk to people too, is they might see a different perspective because you're in the midst of it. So Play-Doh, I mean, I have all this stuff around because I have kids, but you know, like I said, cooking, like tell me what your kind of go-to from a creative standpoint is. You guys that are watching on live, or even if you're watching later, like what's that thing that like you do it and you just feel different after? You know, it doesn't have to be big, or like, for example, any song by Journey that comes on the radio, if I hear a Journey song, I don't know, I go to a different place, right? Probably you guys do too, like too many like karaoke nights, right? So what is your mind twist activity? Tell me below if you're on right now. Music. Yeah, is there a song, Davey? Like, is there a song that gets you in a different, you know, channel? What other examples? Like there's people have all kinds of things that they go to when they need to shift their mindset away from what's going on. Again, a lot of times mine is cooking. I'll come up with a new recipe, or I'll do something or whatever. So tell me below. I'd love to hear other ideas for getting your mind twist on. Okay, so that was my exact 6 steps for, what did I say? For being positive even when you feel like just staying in bed. We've all been there. We're there all the time, aren't we, if we're being honest? You don't have to follow all these steps, but I think any of them by itself is money. So let me just review. Number 1, asking for audiobook. Nice. I know, podcasts. Podcasts I love. Okay. Asking for support and being specific about that support. How do you need the people in your life to show up for you when you're in that negative space? And especially if you can do it ahead of time, like you know you're gonna have a stressful week, like what do you need to happen? I know that I'm gonna be stressed and it's gonna come out when I'm unloading the dishwasher, or if the house is a mess or something like that. I'm able now, not all the time, to communicate that to my husband. Doing extra. Again, in that space, our tendency often is to be small. okay, to not invest any more of ourselves because we've already put our neck out. It didn't work out. We're just going to huddle back into our comfort zone. So push past that and do extra. Visualize. In this space, we need to remind ourselves what this work is for. We need to remind ourselves that it's a possibility because at this point, we need to suspend reality. We're in a losing streak. We need to believe that we can get past this. Otherwise, we show up to practice and it's a complete waste of time. So we need to be able to suspend reality for a little while. Visualization is your friend when it comes to that. With this is positive self-talk, having some sort of mantra. Again, thanks for the heart. I told you mine. When it comes to my business, my mantra is, if other people have figured it out, so can I. Number 5 is doing something physical. When we have a challenge in front of us, or we're in a negative space, and that's a challenge in and of itself that we need to overcome, we need to remind ourselves that we are physically able to do things. We are physically able to overcome challenges. And when you do that, you automatically remind yourself of what you're capable of. Not to mention you burn off stress hormones and you're more likely to get out of that negative mind space and that fight or flight. You're more likely, I mean, how many of you, this happens to me like consistently, you're out for a run and all of a sudden you get a solution to a problem. Anybody else experience this? So when we burn off some of those stress hormones and we get some of those happy hormones, we get more creative in our brain and we start thinking about things in a new way. Fresh air and all that stuff, that all helps. So do something physical. Final, get your mind twist on. Do something else. Be creative. So you guys talk about music, an audiobook. I like to cook, gardening, and Play-Doh, anything that gets your brain thinking in a new way and you can come back to the problem. All right, Mental Training Entrepreneur Bootcamp is open. We're taking applications. It's been awesome to get to know some of you and welcome you guys into the Mental Training Entrepreneur Bootcamp. The applications have been awesome. It's been so fun to see people's videos and hear about how people are getting ready to make big changes in their life and completely change their life, really, and take a risk and bet on themselves that in 6 to 9 months they are going to have a profitable, passion-filled mental training business. And I am the lucky one that gets to help them through that process. So if you are on the fence and you've been thinking about becoming a mental training entrepreneur, I can help you do just that. I'm gonna put the link below for more information and also how to apply. We take applications. It's a limited space mastermind. The doors are closing soon and they're actually closing before when we reach the number that we need to reach. So if you're interested, I would love to talk to you and I'll put the link below so you can apply. If you have any questions about my 6 steps to staying positive even when you want to stay in bed, I would love to hear from you. You can put a comment below. If you're interested in the Mental Training Entrepreneur Bootcamp, we also have a private Facebook group where we talk about all it means to be a mental training entrepreneur. So anyway, I'll put the link below for the bootcamp. You can learn more and you can apply online. Thanks, guys. Thanks for all of you guys for joining. If you loved this video, please like it, love it. And if you know anybody that would benefit from it, I'd appreciate you sharing this because we can all work on our positivity. There's a little button below with a little arrow. You can share it onto your page. You can tell someone else that you like this, that you found value in it. When you do that, it so helps us. It so helps us. I can't tell you how much it helps us. So if you liked it, like it, love it, put comments below and share it. Yes, thank you for the hearts. Share it because all of us are in that space. If we're not in sports, if we're not in business, doesn't matter. We all get stuck in that negative mind space and we need some strategies to get out. Am I right? I'm right. I know because I deal with it too. Okay, guys, have a great day. Thanks so much.